Welcome back to Cold Front Convos. I'm Adam here in the Colonial Village attire. Mitch rocking the Milano, Goose in the Syracuse hoodie. I can't tell what Alex's blue hoodie is.
The mighty Niagara.
Oh, it looks like Star Trek from here. So Kurt, lead me off from that. Let's go right into the Bills falling to the Rams, 44-42. Fun game to watch. Not a great outcome. I mean, it had everything you wanted from an offensive standpoint from both sides of the ball, or both teams. Obviously, 44-42, highest scoring game of the year in the NFL, but left quite a bit to be desired on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, stress city, the whole game. I mean, down 17, being pissed off, and just another one of those emotional games. Take the lead, fall back down. Defense can't make a stop. Like horrible. One stop all game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that block punt, that kind of. I think that's like set the game up for what was to come. Just changed the momentum.
Yeah.
I wonder, does that game say more about the Bills necessarily, or does it say more about the Rams, how good they can actually be?
I think it's 60-40 in favor of the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's defense, is porous and, the running game, and they sure as hell took advantage of that. And
yeah, you wonder if the game would be a little different if, it's played in the elements, like the Niners game was, because actually the Niners, that game was almost more of an advantage to some extent for the Niners, the way they play. They like to run the ball and that type of thing. But you wonder if it's reversed. If we get LA in Buffalo in the snow game, if it's any different. I know Kyron Williams can run the ball, don't get me wrong, but you wonder if the outcomes just had different both ways. I mean,
yeah.
I think the elements it would have favored Buffalo to a little bit of an extent, but the offensive game plan for the Rams just was perfect for what the Bills do. And Stafford's not the guy anymore. This isn't the Lions 8-10 years ago. He's not the guy anymore who's going to rush throws. He's going to let Atwell and Kupp and Nakua just take the ball.
But I think the problem with that, though, is more so on Buffalo's defense that, you're leaving Kupp and Nakua wide open on 3rd and long several times. Don't get me wrong, the refs didn't help on some shaky pass PI calls, but overall, 3rd down's wide open. Easy runs up the middle, going for 7-8 yards on 3rd and 6. And then not having Phillips. We talked about it before the game even started, that Phillips was a healthy scratch.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that third downs were crazy though, because I wrote it down that the Rams' 3rd down percentage was 36%. They were 22nd in the league before they played the Bills.
Yeah,
and then they were converting on like 73% of their 3rd downs. Like that's just unbelievable.
I'm fairly certain they didn't. It was only like one or two of them that didn't convert on, and then the one they ended up converting the 4th down. So it just
we didn't have an answer. At some point you got to switch to man to man, and make adjustments.
There were times they did. It just didn't. It didn't. That's when those guys were making great catches.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's it's the NFL now where there's rubs, picks, whatever you want to call it, all day. I'm not talking about the touchdown in Nakua, but
right.
That's the crossing patterns all over the field, and that's when Nakua catches that one on the sidelines. That was an amazing catch.
Oh yeah, for sure,
unbelievable.
That's a man play. The one cuts underneath and does essentially a drag route, but he gets that one and takes it upfield for 25 yards. That's man. And I'm not criticizing your take at all. It's like they just didn't have an answer. And I wonder sometimes if that's how it feels to play the Bills, who are going to hang 30 on you every week. Now, granted, Allen does more with his legs, but than Stafford ever will. But how often does Josh find a guy that's inexplicably 5 yards from anybody? It just happened to be that it was every third down. They were 9 for 10 with the one non-conversion being the field goal at one point. And then they ended up, that was when they forced the punt to go 9 for 11. And they ended up 11 for 14, I think. 11 for 15, maybe.
I think the only positive out of this game was just that we found our offense being able to put up points when they needed to.
Without a run game, too.
Without a run game. They were able to keep up. I mean, they had to come back, but they were almost able to win that game with the defense doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah. But that brings up another point. Sean McDermott in poor situations. He approves the play call at the end of the day, right? So, and you got to know why not. First of all, why not line up in the correct formation to start with? Yeah. Why are you bringing in a motion guy who's not going to get hands on Josh to push even in time of the snap? And I don't understand that call.
I'm wondering if actually Josh called his own number there because they come out in shotgun and he went up and got, what I mean? Like he kind of got that. Hey, if you think you can get it, go for it. But this is the play. But if you think you can get it, just go up and run it in.
He talked at the post game that he didn't. It wasn't his call. But I thought the exact same thing, Goose. I was like, I wonder if Josh is saying, "Look, I'm 9 for the last 11 on these. I'm going to take it." And
honestly, I don't mind. I really, and I said this in the text. I really don't mind him doing it. But it's one of those things like, and maybe they tried to throw something out, but maybe at least put it back in the backfield to make it look like, okay, it's not automatic that he's going to be the one that's going to just sneak it. There's an option that, they've got 2 or 3 wide outs and they got the back on the back, he could do the fake hit, play action, and then he could run it. Give him a few more options, but when you have no anyone else lining up in the backfield with you.
And you're under center.
And you start all the way back and then you slowly walk up. Like everyone in the stadium, everyone in the country that was watching that game knew that was going to be a quarterback sneak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to see them roll them out.
Exactly.
Do a quick from shotgun, turn and fire. Like the same play that was scored on, but on the goal line.
I said, even at the end of the day, if you take 5 seconds, 7 seconds to run the play, it's still better off than having the timeout, or you want the timeout. So it's going to cost you 36 seconds.
They were saying if they had thrown the ball and they didn't make it or whatever, they still would potentially have like 45 seconds left with being able to then use those 3 timeouts with the Rams getting the ball and then being able to use all 3 timeouts, considering that as long as you could stop them at the time. Then they get the ball back with 42, 43 seconds left or something like that. So, I mean, it's still not ideal, but it's better than what it was, obviously.
Yeah. You only got to get to field goal range in a dome. And
Bass had hit a few.
Probably hit a 60-yarder. He hit a 61.
Right. And he's been, knock on wood, he's been hot since. So
and the Rams defense couldn't stop the Bills in the second half at all. So, I mean, they were doing whatever they wanted.
Right. But now you're going to have to go back-to-back weeks and put up another 30 plus. I mean, it's 7 weeks in a row now, so let's keep that going. But I think we're going to need to be up in if Detroit's offense is going to be high-powered and Goff is on his game, they're going to put up 32. So
easily.
It's going to be it's going to basically be the exact same game that they just played in to some extent. It's going to be in a dome. It's going to be the quarterback that likes to throw off play action, that can read defenses, likes to play in zone. And you got 3 good wide receivers, and you also got a really good tight end
and 2 great running backs.
And you got 2 great running backs, and you got the best offensive line in the NFL.
But they also have they also have 13 guys or 18 guys or something on the IR. They're down
mostly defenders.
11. Their defense
starters on their defense.
They've been piecing together that defense. I mean, they've still been playing really well, but I mean, they can be exposed and they can be beat pretty easily. But they're going to have to take the ball first if they win the toss and go down and score right away type of thing. It's going to have to be one of those, like, they can't get behind. They can't kick field goals. Like, they need to score
both teams. That's the same set for both teams. I mean, you both got to
Right.
get the ball early.
I'm just specifying specifically for the Bills, but yes, for both teams, it would definitely have to be
Bobby
that.
Babich was talking, like he was interviewed earlier in the season. They asked him about who's the hardest offensive coordinator to game plan against, and he said Ben Johnson. Right? That's Detroit's, right?
Detroit's,
Yep.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you got to take a page out of the book. It's a copycat league. McDermott says it all the time. A lot of these guys say it, but you got to take a page out of that book and say, okay, the Bears held them to 23, and but the Packers gave up 32. Like, you got to find the games and see what types of shells they played and what type of looks they gave, and you know that Goff and those guys have worked on how to beat those things because that's what stopped them. But at the end of the day, knowing we're down Douglas and probably Rapp as well, right? Rapp was a head neck or neck shoulder.
They both did not practice today and walkthroughs.
Right. So you're probably going to be down both those guys. You're going to have to copycat and then hope there's some extra. I would have loved to see them jump into a 4-3 at the beginning of the game when Williams was running all over us, and put Dorian Williams in and let Milano play weak side and Williams play strong side, and obviously Bernard in the middle. And but then again, that takes Taron Johnson off the field. Yeah. So you're taking off a great player, but
I mean, Taron Johnson was having trouble in the game too.
So they're all good.
I mean, you had to make some type of change.
Yeah. He couldn't cover anybody. I mean, he did well in run defense, like towards the end of the game. You know, he broke up a few plays here and there, but he was getting torched pretty badly.
Yeah.
There's another stat that I thought was really interesting for the Bills. I don't know if you saw this, but since the Super Bowl era, any team that scored 6 touchdowns and had 0 interceptions, it's 245-0.
Yeah, we're the first team.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
We're in the
That's a
record
classic Buffalo thing.
Well, Mitch mentioned McDermott's decision making, and we talked about this in the chat a little bit, but his decision to decline or to accept the holding penalty. And the question is, do they go for it on 4th and 7 or 4th and 8, whatever it was going to be, wherever Stafford ran out of bounds?
Yeah.
And they may be yes, because McVay's a smart guy, and they hadn't stopped Allen. Allen scored 28 points in the second half on them or something like that. Almost on his own. Great catch by Shakir on the left sideline, and a nice catch.
That was wild. Yeah. I thought that was picked off at first.
Same. Yeah, I thought that was the Micah Hyde play against New England.
Yeah. I question his in the moment decision making. I don't even question necessarily the sneak, because it was probably a Brady call. It probably doesn't even go through McDermott. It just goes Brady to the headphones through Josh. So unless McDermott said, let's sneak it here on his set and whatever, you know what I mean? But just that decision there, and then there should have been a challenge flag on, I can't remember the guy's name, one of the receivers. They showed the replay where it looked like the ball could have touched the ground.
I do remember that. But I was yelling, throw the flag.
Yeah, it's like the ball, they showed it on the replay that it looked like the head or the point of the ball touched the ground and rotated in his hands, but we didn't make that play. Yeah. We got what's his nuts, the ex-referee.
He should be
every time.
Yeah, what are we paying this guy for?
It's amazing.
But going back to their defense and, without Douglas and Rapp, I guess pretty much McDermott said today, or his press conference, that, Elam, there's a reason why he's been a healthy scratch, is that he hasn't played up to potential, everybody earns their spot and starting role. And so, obviously, there's no high hopes there.
Is he bringing him up or no?
He's probably going to have to.
He's going to have to. But Elam's good on man coverage. That's like what he thrives in. And they don't like doing man. So
we play
that's another, like, why
you've been on the team for how long? You could pick up how to play zone. Well, they said that they wanted McDuffie, and Kansas City drafted him.
Yeah.
So it was more of a panic move by Bean. But
which is surprising because you look at all those other draft picks over the last 4 or 5 years, and he's hit on like 90% of them.
Well, Tre'Davious White was hurt, so I mean,
Yeah, true.
They needed somebody.
It was
Yeah.
a position fill, and he was the best available at that position at the time.
Well, it took Benford
but
same
wrong
draft.
scheme.
Yeah.
You wonder if Hyde's going to get brought in
Vaccinated?
healthy.
Yeah.
Safety
With
if Raps
Rabbi.
out. I mean,
He might.
I don't know.
He-
I mean,
maybe
not that
play
he,
Bishop and
but he's
somehow
great.
in.
He's great in run defense. I mean, he's really good at stopping the run. Really good tackler. I mean, he's not awesome in coverage. He's
But he
not
knows the
nearly as
role.
good as Rap. He's right. He's not nearly as good as Rap in coverage.
Mhm.
You know,
But-
Johnson, he's not tweeting anything about what position he's playing this week in practice. So
Yeah, fair.
Going back to that call, McDermott, accepting the flag. It's I kind of understand why he accepted it and pushed them back, because they were in field goal range. Get the 3 points. Where you push them out and you just kind of trust your D. So it's kind of a mix of both. I mean, I can kind of go both ways on that one. You know what I mean? Like I don't
I see
really
both
fault him
sides.
for doing
Yeah.
that, because they push them out of field goal range at that point by accepting it. So you're like, okay, now it's third and 15, third and 16, 17 or something,
or something like
third and
that.
16. So I mean, you're obviously not expecting them to get 9 yards or 8 or 9 yards on the first play, the next play.
I mean, that being said, they were averaging. They were killing us.
Yeah.
They were gashing us.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Goose. But at the same point, if you're thinking they're going to kick the field goal there to go up by 6, okay, then you're giving Josh 3 timeouts, and at that point, what, like 2.5 minutes or so,
Yeah.
to get
To get
down the
7.
field to
Yeah.
get a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yep.
On a game that he had scored 6.
I also don't
Yeah.
think that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think they
go
would have
both ways
gone
on
for it
that.
on 4th down, regardless.
Yeah.
Whether they, I think they're going to be their game plan either way, just because our defense couldn't stop them.
Mhm.
Why not just attempt it? You've been able to get 10 yards on every
Yeah.
play.
Right. Well, their
So
defense
I
couldn't
think
stop
even
us.
if
so,
we had
yeah.
not accepted the penalty, they were going to go for it on 4th down.
Well, they ended
weren't
up
going for a field goal.
5 anyways. It just ended up costing
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So it's hindsight.
it-
right? You
It is
still-
hindsight. Yeah. One of those things. Maybe McVay, if they get stopped, he's not feeling the momentum at that point. Maybe he kicks the field goal, and like you said, now Josh has extra time, and now maybe McVay's thinking like, okay, like we have extra time. If they go down and score, we have time to get down and kick a field goal too, or whatever, and stuff like that. Maybe that thought process goes through his mind if he doesn't accept it. But
At the end of the day,
it's,
I mean,
yeah.
it shouldn't have happened. False start, holding
Yeah,
calls,
4th and 5 play.
blown calls.
Right there.
So I mean,
And then
yes,
Cup holding
but-
at the goal line.
Yeah.
He can
That
engage.
false start was unbelievable
It was
because the
horrible.
ref was looking right at it,
Mhm.
and it was so obvious.
It's like the lineman for the Chiefs, same exact thing. Chris
We know you
Collinsworth,
love him. Yeah.
Yeah. Chris Collinsworth said, "Yeah, do it if you can, get away with it. You get that first step, go for it."
I mean, the
He-
only thing with the Chiefs guys, that their offensive tackles are the worst 2 in the league, so it doesn't really seem to help him at all.
Yeah, fair.
Whereas
He's
this
still
guy,
the-
he's
right.
actually a solid offensive tackle. So the fact that he did it, gives him advantage. I mean, the fact that the Bills had no pass rush whatsoever in this game,
Yeah.
0. I mean, there was barely any pressure on Stafford.
No sacks on
That's-
Stafford or Allen.
Yeah.
But that's been an issue for our defensive line. We really don't get a lot of pressure. We haven't been able to break through very often.
No, a big difference from last year.
I saw the Ed Oliver stats today, and last year at this time he had like 27 solo tackles, a couple pass defense. I think he had a pick last year, but whatever. Then he had 9.5 sacks at this point last year, and this year he has 8 solo tackles, 1 pass defense, and 1 sack or 1.5. Like 8 sacks out of the guy you just paid how much this offseason to who he extended. How much you just paid him, and he's 8 sacks less than he was last year. It's brutal.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're doubling him more, so it's not going to be as productive. But that means Epinesa, Rousseau, or Miller have to do something. And no, like you said, no one's getting home.
Epinesa hasn't done anything this year.
Nah, a couple batted balls.
he's had a couple. He's had like one or two good, decent games or whatever. I can't remember which game
Early.
it was.
He had early.
Yeah, he's earlier.
Jacksonville, I think he did
Got
pretty well.
a
Yeah,
few half
games
sacks.
against somebody
Remember, he
early.
had he had a sack the one time, and they called him for call him
The
for
roughing-
roughing the passer.
passer.
I can't
On
remember
Rodgers.
which game that Rogers. Okay, yeah, yeah, I couldn't remember what game that was, but yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the defensive line's definitely something that they probably should have looked into at the trade deadline. Add another pass rusher, but
Well, I think that's where our draft's headed next year. So
I agree with that.
I mean,
Pass
we don't
rush.
need anybody. It depends on who they resign, but the offensive side of the ball is set. I don't foresee a reason to draft anybody on the offensive side unless you're trying to get another lineman
or a
That'd be like
replacement
four-
for Matt Collins.
No,
Yeah,
I
Matt
think,
Collins needs to, and Cooper
think-
needs to be re-signed.
yeah, I was going to say I think you can re-sign both of those guys. I don't think Holland's going to demand that much money, in the grand scheme of things. You're not going to.
Yeah, but I mean, you're always looking to upgrade, right? So at least get a draft one, maybe late.
I get what you're saying, but what Hollins does for them, I think, at the price point, and then he knows the offense already. You know what you're getting. I think, and they're a vibes team. I don't know that they'd keep him just for that, but apples to apples, you still got Shorter and what's the other young receiver's name? He's on the practice squad all the time.
Shivers.
Shavers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Shavers.
you still got those two guys on their rookie contracts too behind you. So I don't know that you necessarily need someone, because if they're all healthy, right? You got Coleman, Shakir, Samuel, and then you re-sign Cooper and Hollins. There's your starting five. Then you still have Kincaid and Knox. I mean, that's 7 viable throws.
What was Samuel's contract?
There's 3 years.
3
Was it
years.
2 or 3? 3.
Yeah, he was expensive.
$7 or $8 million a year.
If they were to cut him, I don't know what the dead cap looks like, but he was, of those guys, obviously, he's worth
Non-existent.
anybody.
Yeah.
So
Shakir is what they wanted Samuel to be, or at least a dual threat to go along with that.
well, they wanted Shakir or Samuel to be Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah.
You can hand him a jet sweep, you can run him in the slot, you can run him outside to stretch the field a bit. He did a lot with Washington that we don't get to see at all here.
Yeah. Well, he's fed a lot more in Washington too, but
Yeah, but at that one point, though, he was the number one.
Yep.
Before Cooper got here, there was those couple weeks where Kincaid was out, Shakir was out, right? And so was Cooper, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Coleman.
Kincaid was out too at a point. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Samuel had the chance to be the one, and he just didn't play well those 2 games. Remember, he had like 3 drops in that first game.
Yeah.
So, anyways, defense sucked. Hopefully better this week. I'm fingers crossed we can scheme some of those issues away. But we'll find out. Goff is a very accurate passer, and he can also throw deep. So,
But he can also throw 5 picks in a game
It's true.
and still win.
Oh, the Sabres
five
just scored,
picks.
guys.
hey, sports.
It's 2-1 though, so they're still losing.
Yeah. So we got. But the thing about Goff too, though, as much as he can throw 5 picks, he also has the NFL record this season that he broke for most consecutive passes with a completion during a game. He was 22 for 22 or 24 for 24 in the one game this year. He threw a perfect game. So you get some, you lose some.
Yeah. Shakir dropped his first ball.
That one hit him right in the
Right in the shoulder. Yeah, there's no reason
It
why
was
he
a
should
tough
call
ball
it. Yeah.
because he was
should call
diving. But I thought he should have caught it. Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, neat.
but you're wearing pants, so that's good.
Man, that could have been. I would have had to learn how to blur. So let's talk Josh Allen before we talk more about Mrs. Sweatpants. NFL record since 1954, I want to say, the NFL championship game in 1954. 3 rush touchdowns, 3 pass touchdowns. Jalen Hurts stole those touchdowns from a running back. However, the throws that got them there, it wasn't like a running back carried them down the field and then he cashed in. Just amazing game by Josh. Six touchdowns, no turnovers. Highest QBR in the league right now. And and the reason I bring it up, besides just saying, holy heck, how did Josh, when he's locked in like that, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He had so many talking heads at the beginning of the season talk about the window's closed, they don't have the talent, they can only go as far as Josh will take them.
Stephon Diggs was the reason Josh was good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's like, he gets his coordinators fired, even though Dayball left to go be a head coach.
Correct.
And I mean, Dorsey got fired, but the Bills were 6-6. It's just amazing to me, the turnaround now. Because the beginning of the season, the only two guys that were really on him were Nick Wright, it's Nick Wright.
Surprising. I can't stand him, but I got to listen to him when he talks about the Bills.
Yeah. So. And actually Shady McCoy, who ex-Bill, Josh's rookie year. Those are like the only two analysts.
At times, at times, Shady dissed Buffalo a few times.
Buffalo, the team, not Josh.
Yeah, early on. Yeah, not Josh. Yeah, you're right.
And Orlovsky's been high on him this year. But even Kyle Brandt.
Which usually, he was not so much. Exactly. He's been very quiet on the Bills this year.
Yeah, so that all being said,
no more Josh Allen in his podcast. That's probably why.
Yeah, I think he killed the podcast, to be honest with you. Yeah. But it was, come on, Kyle, join us. Yeah. We can change it to cold front basement.
I'm going to read a stat real quick regarding Josh and how many rushing TDs and who he has more TDs than. O.J. Simpson, Herschel Walker, Terrell Davis, Jamal Lewis, Roger Craig, Tiki Barber, Chris Johnson, Arian Foster, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, Warwick Dunn, and Saquon Barkley, plus another 190 passing touchdowns.
Yeah. These guys are freaking nature.
How many Hall of Famers are on that list? That's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting, right? We are taking for granted the fact that the Bills could have a couple of Super Bowls if Patrick Mahomes wasn't who Patrick Mahomes is. I mean, we got slapped by the Bengals that year, so okay. But we've lost to the Chiefs 3 times in the playoffs in the last 4 years. Patrick Mahomes isn't, and 2 of the 3 were like games that we could have won.
Would you hope Super Bowls to be?
Right. Yeah. And so you have that, but Allen is legitimately one of the most, I'll say amazing, but he's one of those
prolific
must-see TV, like crazy players ever. He's like Mike Vick in his prime, but in my opinion, a little bit better.
Oh, he's better than Mike Vick in his prime. Mike Vick,
just like the must-watch factor.
Yeah. I mean. But Mike Vick was new to the whole running, not new, but like the best of the running quarterbacks at that time. But he was just voted. Josh was just voted. Was it Sports Illustrated Athlete of the Year?
Yeah.
So
I heard that by one guy, right?
Well, I don't know if it was just one guy or not.
Yeah, I think it was one of the writers.
Okay.
But even then, like he's got to win MVP. Vegas odds have Josh at like minus 500, and then Saquon's at like plus 1250. So that's anybody who bets knows that's a huge difference.
Oh yeah. Well, here's a kicker though. So if Buffalo does lose to Detroit this week, does Josh play?
Yeah, the next week.
I mean,
yeah, because they could still lose the 2 seed. They could still lose I don't know if they could lose the 3, but they could definitely still lose the 2.
I think possibly he doesn't play. All right, so the last 2 weeks he may not play.
I still think
he might not play
he might miss the last week.
Play a quarter each game and see where it goes. But do you risk it? And then there goes the MVP too. Not that he cares per se, but that'll be a factor.
I don't think you sit him based on MVP at all. I mean, whether it affects it.
I'm not saying MVP. You have the division clinched. If you're not going to drop another seed by losing another game or 2, why play?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I also don't think the Bills their culture would not kind of tie into sitting 2 weeks or more. You know what I'm saying? Because the Steelers can already outpace them.
Yeah, we're tied right now. Well, we're above them, but same record.
Yeah, but if we lose to the Lions and then not play 2 games, essentially,
they'll bump us.
100%. And you wouldn't want to play Kansas City in the conference championship. You'd want to play Kansas City, in the divisional game. You'd want to play them in the conference final. So you but you'd prefer the 2.
The 2 will take you further.
Yeah.
At least Hopefully.
And you,
on paper,
and you probably avoid having to play Pittsburgh
Baltimore.
at Pittsburgh or Pittsburgh at all. Pittsburgh probably ends up, maybe the 3 or the 4 potentially.
I'd rather play Pittsburgh than play Baltimore.
depends what Houston does. Houston, if they lose to Kansas City, they need all the wins they can get. If Houston beats Kansas City, then Houston has a shot to be the 3. If Houston loses that game to Kansas City, then they're pretty much locked into the 4, and then it's a toss-up between us and Pittsburgh at 2 and 3. But of those things, you'd rather play Pittsburgh at home, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you'd also prefer, because is the NFL, do they do the shift? High seed, low seed?
Yes.
So
Yeah, so they would be, so whoever,
Pittsburgh versus the
it's not
Chargers.
guaranteed. They would end up, whatever the top, the Chiefs, they'd end up, if they end up being the top seed, whoever it ends up being, like the lowest seed plays the best seed,
Right.
that type of thing. They don't just put it in a bracket and just go. It just ends up being whoever the lowest seed is plays the best team.
Yeah.
3v6.
So as it sits right now, it's Kansas City, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, right? And then it's 8-5 Houston, 8-5 Baltimore, 8-5 Chargers, 8-5 Denver. So first round of the playoffs will be Bills, Denver, Pittsburgh, Chargers, Ravens, Houston. If it ends today, right?
Right.
But
Which I kind of have a feeling, based on everything, I think that's really what it's going to end up being.
it'll be close.
I can't see a lot of change going on.
Yeah, I don't think
You might-
it comes in. You
You
might
might
see
see
it.
Broncos leave, move out, but other than that, I think it's probably going to be that.
Yeah, I don't think Miami's gonna.
I don't.
Miami's definitely not. What's
Miami 6 and
Cincinnati's
4,
remaining
so is
schedule?
Indy, and Bengals are 5-8. Those are the only 3 left that can even qualify. But of those teams, the playoff teams,
But
I'd
can't
much rather
Cincinnati-
play. What?
Can't Cincinnati still win their division?
They'd have to go. No, they can only get in the wild card. The most they can get is 9 wins.
I thought they still had a chance.
No, Pittsburgh's got 10 already. So, but of those teams, I'd rather play the Broncos, right, as the 2.
Rookie quarterback.
Yeah, you got Bo Nix. Now they're a good team, but they're not on the Bills' level.
No.
I mean,
Their
hell, the
defense
Bills,
is
the
pretty
Bills lost
legit.
3 games this year. A field goal to Houston, 2 points to what's it called?
The Rams.
This week.
The Rams, yeah.
And then they got killed. So okay, they got killed by Baltimore, but
On a
They were
fluke
two
week
games.
where Baltimore hasn't put up those
On
numbers.
2 short weeks,
respectively.
back to back. I think they had the Monday night game, then they had the Thursday, and then they played again on the.
on
It
the Sun-
was like short weeks. Yeah, they were all short weeks or something. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It's what it was. They, what I mean? They didn't play well against Baltimore. They played terrible. It was their worst schemed game of the year. And then he didn't play. Josh, the game he played actually the worst was against Houston. He was 9 for 30.
Yeah.
And he
And
had
still-
the
and
ball the
still-
last 4 series every play.
And still lost by a field goal.
Yeah, and still lost by a field goal. Exactly. So, so I guess that's kind of that. Anything
right now,
Yep. At least right now, I said. Yeah.
anything from around the league besides? I mean, the Thursday night game was great. Lions and Packers.
Packers. That was a
Yeah.
good game.
That was a good game.
It was a fun one to watch. The Carolina Panthers are weird.
Bryce Young looks pretty good, doesn't he? Though, like
Yeah.
he really is doing. I mean, he only has one wide receiver. Got Adam Thielen, right? That's pretty much all that'll actually be.
they
catching the
got
ball,
Xavier
right?
Leggett. Xavier Leggett's
Oh,
pretty good.
Leggett's there, yeah, too.
He's good too.
Yeah.
I had Hubbard on my.
drop at the end of the game to lose it.
Hubbard had like 21 points in fantasy this week, going up against Philadelphia's defense. That's
You
crazy.
How about Philly's? How about the drama in Philly right now?
Yeah, their
With
coach
that.
just came out with a statement and said, I was misspoken.
Oh, it was AJ Brown.
Was it AJ Brown? I thought it
AJ
was the
Brown
coach.
said when he said, "What's wrong with the offense?" and he said, "Passing." So
Yeah.
yeah, that's an interesting one. But I guess you come out of a game against the Panthers, win by 6, where they had a chance. Leggett should catch that ball.
They should have
Yeah.
won that game. Yeah,
They should have won. And what's his name? Brooks tore his ACL, same leg as he tore last time. So that's kind of sucks for him.
Yeah.
Just means Chuba Howard Chuba Hubbard's going to be.
Well, they just signed a contract with him this year too to extend. So that's good.
Fantasy draft in my.
He might go as a keeper.
I don't know about keeper, but he'll definitely be in my legacy team if I can finagle it.
I don't know. He's
Giants
put up
figured
probably
out a way how to
15 points a week.
blow
Most
a
on
check.
average.
The
Giants.
Giants.
The Giants. Yeah.
When I saw that kick, I was like, did they miss it on purpose?
Dumpster fire
Before-
Giants.
you saw it get blocked.
before you saw it get blocked.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The Giants are the Bills now from 2005 to 2012. Where they let Marshawn go for nothing.
I'm sure you can sign EJ for pretty cheap.
And
EJ Edwards, he's still out there.
EJ Emmanuel.
EJ
Chiefs squeak out another one.
always.
Lucky Doink.
They are something else, man. The Chiefs could easily be 8-5.
The wind blew the goalpost left.
They could easily have a losing record right now with the amount of close games that they have.
You flip the
Yeah.
one-score games, they're 2-10.
Any game that's 3 points and under, I think they're still negative. So
Take the last 5 minutes of all of their games out. And they have a losing record.
that's 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes. That's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Blocked field goals, fumbles. Like, that's 10 seconds.
We were all pretty wrong on the Bears. We were all pretty heavy on the Bears.
Horrible. Yeah.
What a game that turned out to be.
How about the Niners? What the heck?
Yeah. Well, you got Niners on Thursday Night Football against the greatest team in the NFC, the Los Angeles Rams. So
would it be nice if freaking San Fran just blew them out? Like,
no, I'd prefer to see them go off, to be honest with you. So I knew it wasn't just Buffalo.
Yeah. Is it in? I could just never mind.
yeah, but
I was going to ask you: is it in LA or is it in San Francisco?
It's in LA, in San Fran, but it's a
Smart.
30-minute plane ride for those guys. And SoFi is actually nicer, so the San Fran guys would probably prefer to play there than in.
all right.
There's more.
Levi Stadium.
Can't do it.
The Jets Miami game was surprisingly close as well.
Yeah, I was shocked about that.
I mean, the Jets are really bad, but Miami's
Two bad
actually
teams.
been doing well.
Yeah, just two bad teams.
Jets.
Against each other.
Yeah.
When do they sit Rodgers down? Like, I mean, come on. Like,
He's
they're
done.
3-10. Like,
He's
just
done.
you got to know what you got, don't you? I
Who's
mean,
behind them?
nobody.
They're gonna draft
I can't even
somebody.
remember who their
I don't even
backup
know.
is, but I mean, don't you want to see
The Tyrod Taylor?
who it is?
Yeah,
it
it's
is
Tyrod.
Tyrod.
So you know what you have. You have a 33-year-old quarterback, 34-year-old.
Don't they have
10
somebody
years
else
younger than
behind
the guy
him?
in front of him, though.
He's got a punctured lung, though, right?
Yeah.
If they stab him,
I think he won that lawsuit.
him and Ricky Pearsall are going to make the all injury team at one point. All right, let's spin it over to the pick'ems. As you can see, the records are updated below our faces. First game,
Why?
Thursday night, is the Rams at the 49ers, as we mentioned. San Fran are 3-point favorites.
Sabres lost.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a ton of sense. 7 games in a row. They suck.
Sorry. Who's playing?
Rams
Same.
at 49ers.
Oh, yeah. Same.
49ers are 3-point favorites. I'm going to take the Rams.
I would second the Rams.
I'm going to take the Rams as well.
We
I mean,
all
49ers don't have a run game anymore right now.
Third guy injured.
Hey, he did all right. I got like 14
He's
points
out.
out of him. Oh, he's already did get out.
Yeah.
Before, yeah. Yep. Got hurt late.
We never do well when all 4 of us pick the same team, but I'm going to go with the Rams. So
Makes sense.
Maybe Vegas knows something we don't.
It's a recency bias. If they didn't smoke the Bills, if they lost the Bills 42-28, we would all have been on the Niners after their win over
That's
Chicago. But Ravens at the old New York Giants. The Ravens, guess the spread without looking. Guess the spread.
13.5.
Alex?
Just say 10.
Goose?
I'm going to decline to answer because I know the spread because it Because I was
gotcha.
just looking at it right now. So
16.
Wow.
16. Oh,
So
Jeez,
you
wow.
do know it was before this year, the only the NFC team that's the only team that Lamar has lost to?
It's the Giants.
Giants. Sure.
Yeah, well, I'm still picking Baltimore.
I'm still picking Baltimore.
It's not even going to be close. It's not even
No,
going to be
it's not.
close.
16-point spread is nuts.
It's going to be over before halftime.
Yeah. Yeah, Lamar may sit some quarters in this one. Jets at Jags. Jets are 3.5-point favorites, and I have to take the New York Jets.
I'm going to take the Jags.
I'm going to take the Jags as well.
Jets are going to just figure out a way. Jets are going to figure out a way to screw up getting a higher pick, so they're going to win this one.
That's
That
true.
makes sense. Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense.
McCorkle Jones was not it this week. That was a travesty of a game against the Titans.
One.
Yeah, that was terrible. I don't care what anyone says. That was like, yeah. Cowboys at Panthers. The Cowboys are 5-8. Panthers 3-10. Carolina are 3-point favorites.
I'm taking Carolina.
Yeah.
We're all taking Carolina? Man. All right.
Hey,
The Cowboys
what's
just,
the
I mean,
matter?
they can't even get anything going.
Yeah,
were
do you
2 points
see, do you see that? Their outside linebacker, oh my God, torn PCL, MCL, and ACL.
Yeah.
Amarian Overshawn.
Guy needs a new
He
knee.
had tore his ACL last year.
Oh,
In the other league.
That might be career ending.
did you take the Panthers, Goose?
Yeah, I'll take the Panthers.
Love that for all of us.
Yeah.
This podcast isn't canceled.
We all go down in the shit.
Commanders at Saints. Washington are 7.5-point favorites. I will be on the Commanders.
Washington.
Yeah, Commanders.
I'm going to be different. I'm going to say the Saints.
Derek Carr going to play? I don't think so.
I don't.
You can
Doesn't
take your Spencer Rattler just like you took him earlier in the season.
Yep.
The albino prince.
The Commanders have been on the foul.
He's
on the fall.
Targaryen.
They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep going.
You know what? He was also in Da Vinci Code. So
Yep.
you can look that up if you need to, guys. The albino from Da Vinci Code. It's a poll you didn't think you were hearing today.
It's ironic. It's foreshadowing that the movie that we're watching this evening. They're getting signed.
Bengals at Titans. Bengals are 5-point favorites, so I'm going to go Cincinnati.
I'm surprised that spread's not larger. I'd be at like 8, 10.
I think it's only that way because Tennessee's pass defense is statistically strong.
I'm taking Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
We're all taking Cincinnati. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
dude, it's
You
an
have
easy
to.
win.
What
It's
do
an
you
easy
do?
win. Put 200 on it. You'll win.
Let's see what you do in this one, Goose. Let's see if you buck the trend. The 12-1 Chiefs at the 3-10 Jameis Winston's. Kansas City minus 4.5. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think it might be
Yeah.
Kansas City's biggest spread of the year. So I'm going to take Kansas City.
Yep. Chiefs.
By a doink field goal.
It'll be a close game.
Yeah.
It'll be
It's
something
actually
crazy
being
this time.
like,
It's actually interesting. I could actually see the Browns winning this game because their defense is
I
actually
wholeheartedly
really
hope so.
I'll
good.
tell you what, you're down in wins, Goose. You are not in
I'll
first place.
I'll take the Browns. Why not?
I want to say
Pick
that,
6 for the win.
Jameis Winston didn't have
You
any
have-
pick sixes.
He still threw 2 picks. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. All right? 2 touchdowns, 2
I'll
picks.
take the Browns.
All right.
The Lord
Why
is
not?
not on his side.
No, he was not. I got you, though. Dolphins at Texans. Houston are minus 3. I will take the Texans.
I am as well.
Are we all going to take the Texans? Goose
This
is
is your
gonna
week, Goose. This is your week.
Goose is going to fade every one of the group picks just to try to catch.
All right. Nah, I'll definitely take the Texans in this one.
We usually average like 5 games a week where everyone picks the same. So,
Yep.
Broncos are at home against the Colts. Denver are 4-point favorites. I'm sticking with
Broncos.
the chalk. I'm going to go Broncos.
Broncos. I like Bo Nix.
Young quarterbacks, A-Rod or Anthony
Richardson.
Richardson versus Bo Nix.
I think the Colts might pull this one out.
I could see it, but yeah.
I think the running game's
Yeah.
gonna do pretty
Think
well.
Jonathan Taylor will have a big game?
Yeah, he's gonna have a big game.
No, I think it's going to be the Broncos.
Oh,
Oh.
role reversal here. Aren't you guys cute?
Look at Alex. Patriots at Cardinals. Arizona are 6-point favorites. Go Cards.
But they really did a terrible job
They
last
looked
week
terrible
against Seattle.
last 2 weeks. Yeah.
Division game, though. Those games are always tight up there. No one knows who wants to win that division with San Fran being the way they are.
I think New England's going for a pick, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals. I think Connor has a good game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cards. Well,
I'll go Patriots.
Okay. Bucks
In
at
fact, Bears.
Chargers. Bucks at Chargers. Chargers are 3-point favorites. I like this game.
this will be a
I'm
good game.
I'm going to go Buccaneers.
I like the Chargers, but I'm going to stick with the Chargers. I really wanted to go Bucks because I like the way they're playing, but
Love ice cream.
I
I'm gonna stick with ice cream.
You got to stick what you like, right? So I'll stay.
You go the
Gut says
Chargers.
Chargers.
Who's got the Chargers
Chargers.
team? Alex?
I'm going Bucks on this one.
Love it. Team better than you. Steelers at the Eagles would essentially, besides the Bills game of the week, Philly are 5.5-point favorites.
That's surprising.
That it's that much.
Steelers are at Eagles.
Eagles are at home.
Won
So
10 games in a row. That's why. I think the drama gets in the way. Steelers roll.
I can see it.
I think Russ has a comeback to earth game, and Eagles prevail.
He's been living on Earth. They just find ways to stop. They're not the Chiefs, obviously, but they just one or two plays every week.
He's had a good few weeks.
Yeah, I think the
it's time
Eagles are
for a
going to
step
beat
in.
the Eagles. I don't think the secondary of the Steelers are going to be able to keep up with them.
They got to pass the ball for that to happen.
Fair. I think the reason I think the Eagles will win is Saquon. I don't think it's anything to do with. Well, Hurts might steal. By the way, not to take us off track here, but I saw a stat today. Saquon's been tackled at the 1 or 2 yard line 11 times this year.
Yeah, he's like 8 touchdowns or 9 touchdowns they have.
He has none from the 2 or inside the 2.
Yeah.
They've all gone to Hurts.
There were a few times though where he was stopped on the 1 or 2.
Yeah, on the
goal line stand.
And then they push. So he's got 15 rushing touchdowns this year. He
Yeah.
could have, theoretically, 26, which is insane.
I'd say more like 23, but yeah, I agree.
But, okay,
What
sure.
you're saying.
23
No, what
is
you're
still
saying,
not.
yeah.
With
Yeah,
3
for sure.
games, 4 games left.
Yeah.
That's
That's another thing too. Like they're going into a very weak schedule. They're not gonna. He'll be at snap count. I think more so towards the end of their schedule. On
well, and it comes down to, do they want him to break the record? The
Right.
good news is Eric Dickerson's record was set in 16 games, and this will be 17. So he gets a whole other game.
Right.
That's like
It's a
people
little
who talk
asterisk
about,
there.
what's that?
He gets an asterisk on that record if he breaks it.
You would
Right.
think. But then
unless
you
he
got
does it in
guys
the 16th game.
Yeah.
who talk about Allen having less yards than Lamar and touchdowns than Lamar. I saw the count today. Allen's played 121 less snaps than Lamar, which is essentially almost 2 full games of football between all the times he sat out at the end of games this year.
But you think about it, he throws the ball maybe 35 times a game. So that's still, if you're talking just throwing the ball, that's 4 games.
Just throws. But yeah, you figured there's some runs in there. Go 50-50 even.
Yeah.
60 passes.
Yeah, it's 70-30, but yeah.
So, all right. So we got that one, Steelers, Eagles. We got Packers at Seahawks. Green Bay are 3-point favorites on the road.
Green
I'm going to
Bay.
take Green Bay.
Go on Seahawks. Go Hawks, go.
Yeah, I can actually see the Seahawks pulling this one out too.
The
Packers
Geno train
defense is really terrible. Not good at all. So
Yeah, but I think Green Bay's offense is better than. So
Yeah, maybe. But you know what? We talked about it last week. I told you all that Seahawks are going to beat the Cards.
yeah,
yeah, you did.
there's a bad bet on my part.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's go Hawks go. I just said that. Two Monday night games this week, both terrible. Bears at Vikings. Vikings are 7-point favorites.
Yeah,
Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings.
And then Falcons at Raiders. Falcons are 4-point favorites. I'm going to take them, but it's because they both stink.
Who's quarterback for the Raiders right now?
O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell.
Remember, he had that great play at the end of the game against the Chiefs.
I'm gonna ride with the Raiders this week. It's the upset. Kirk's feeling the pressure.
Who would you say, Goose? Or you didn't?
I haven't said anything yet. I was just kind of thinking, wonder if it's going to continue to be Kirk Buggins or if it's going to be Kirk Cousins here. So Kirk Thuggins. So we'll go with I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think they're going to screw up the picks again.
They're due. The Raiders are due.
Yeah, I'm going to take
Brock
Falcons on
Bowers.
this one.
Falcons, Alex?
Yep.
Gotcha. All right. And last but certainly not least, what is the game of the week, I think? Bills at Lions. Lions are 2.5-point favorites. Go ahead.
I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think the Bills will be able to pull it out.
Ride or die.
All right, Mitch's on the Bills. Goose?
I think the Lions are going to win this game. I think they're too good right now and offensively, and I don't think the Bills defense right now is going to be able to do anything. So I'm obviously going to be continuing to root for the Bills, but I don't think they'll win this game. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm going to take the Bills in a last-second field goal.
I think that they're going
I hope
to
so.
oversell on the run.
Who is?
And Buffalo. And I think they're going to, they'll be able to tame it, per se. Probably around 120 yards for the game, 130 yards for the game. I think it could be much worse, but I think they'll be able to handle that, and we'll just slow down their offense a little bit.
I think their game plan is going to be, from the offense side of the ball, it's going to be the same as it was against Kansas City. Try to grind it out. Now, the defensive line, we talked about how they couldn't get any pressure last time, and then all they did was get sacks on Green Bay.
Yeah.
Now, Green Bay still put up 30, 32, but I'm counting on a Ray Davis, James Cook, strong running game, hopefully. And then Allen will, obviously. But
I think this is a game that you need Ray Davis to be doing something. I was surprised that they didn't have him do anything last week.
He didn't get a touch.
Brady said in his 31st play is when Davis got his call, which he said it was ridiculous. That shouldn't happen, and that's on him. But there's a penalty on that play before the snap. It was a false start. So he didn't even get to play.
Yeah, he was in pass protection a couple times. So that was it.
Yeah.
So, all right. There's our pick'ems. We'll see how we do, obviously. This is be an interesting situation. As you heard, our glorious Buffalo Sabres, who, after we said we were going to really try to pay attention to and get involved in, is right. They won that 3-game run out on the West Coast. Anaheim, the Kings, and someone else. I don't remember. But they won 3 games in a row. And then since then, as you heard earlier, 7 in a row they have lost. And I don't know what to do. I mean, it's more of the same, I guess, from the Sabres. They've always been streaky.
Well, I mean, Kevin Adams coming on that press conference and saying, we can't get players that want to be. That's his job. He pretty much said that I can't do my job.
Taxes
you got to
too
be able
high.
to bring people. You have to sell people into the team to want to play here. He can't do that. Then it's unbelievable. He just made himself look like an idiot.
Wow. And he says, "Well, look at the Bills. They did a great job. It wasn't a destination. Then they got Josh Allen, and now all guys are lining up because they can win a Super Bowl every year." Well, let's not forget Jack Eichel was a stud. And on top of it, what they do to get Josh Allen, they traded a bunch of stuff to get Josh Allen. Now, granted, he worked out more than anyone ever thought he would, but there's guys out there that you can buy
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
We don't spend to the salary cap limit.
We have so much money in the salary cap. I mean, we have one of the highest salary caps right now, I think.
Yeah,
we
we
just
got
can't.
people got to pay for those what do they call PSEs for the new stadium?
Oh,
The seat licenses.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. PSLs, yeah.
It's amazing, just the ineptitude in that building.
yeah. Sad, frankly.
Yeah.
If anything, that's a team that Gulas should sell.
That's what I think might end up happening. And I
so.
don't know if they'll be around anymore. They'll be gone. Nobody's going to keep them here.
I mean, you'd have to sell it, not Golisano, obviously, right? But like a local business person, mogul, who's committed to partnering them with the Bills. You know, because the Bills are the
highlight,
America's sweethearts right now.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah. So if you can get in and then you make some free agency booms like the Gulas did when they first got here. Now, granted, none of them worked. Ehrhoff, what was it, Robin Regier, and Billy Leno, which is all-time stud. I don't know if he signed the
best contract ever signed.
Yeah, I don't know if he signed the stick behind your head,
They're
but
still paying it.
You should get it. Yeah, he's the Bobby Bonilla of the Sabres.
I think if you get a partial owner that takes over hockey operations, you know, that has you know, ownership at Pagula, at, you know, their corporation or whatever itself, both teams maybe, and ownership, a small ownership in the Bills with a majority ownership in the Sabres. And
didn't they try to bring somebody in to do that? What was it? Didn't they bring somebody in for hockey operations?
They did for hockey ops. Well, they brought Fontaine for hockey ops.
Fontaine, that's who it was. And he even was like, I'm out of here. I can't do this.
Well, Kevin Adams said that Pagula wants to be involved in running the team, which he doesn't have a hockey background, obviously. Now he has 10 years or 12 years of owning the team, and they suck. But that's about it. And now I do feel bad because Kim Pagula and all the stuff that's going on with her, obviously.
Yeah.
When Terry Pagula says, I miss her, and she's still there, obviously it gives you kind of a hint at what's
actually going on.
Actually happening.
Yeah.
But when she was involved, at least things were moving. Whether she was forcing it to happen or not, obviously it could just been timing. But when she was more involved, we were hiring new people. They cleaned house at one point to bring in Bausma.
Yeah.
And then who was the guy that sucked afterward? They all sucked, but Kruger.
Well, they couldn't get another coach in.
Yeah.
And like Kruger was a head coach for like a year or two or something like that. But he's like a soccer guy.
Yeah, and then they had Granato.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried the old Ted Lasso reversal.
Yeah, they did. They did. So, anyways, Sabres suck. We wish they were better. And I can't watch any of the games because they're always blacked out. And I don't have MSG.
Yeah, same.
So,
but I haven't missed much. So,
yeah, nothing
there's a plus
going on
there.
I'm less frustrated on Tuesdays through Saturdays.
Before we get into the movie here real quick, anybody see that Bill Belichick is heading to North Carolina on a 5-year deal?
Do you see one of his stipulations is that his son becomes a coach?
Oh, I didn't see that.
I figured that was the hold up to some extent as to why it wasn't done if he was actually going to do it. I don't know. I mean, if he can just focus on coaching, like, it'll be fine. But I mean,
college is a different world.
College to me right now is almost harder than being an NFL head coach.
Well, what he
no
says
contracts, NIL, transfer portal. I mean,
yeah.
As long as he doesn't have to, deal with that stuff, I think he'll be fine. But I'm surprised he went with this type of a job versus like going to, I don't know, seeing what was available in SEC or a Big Ten school or something. At least it's a little more prestigious. The ACC sucks.
Yeah, I think it gives him the opportunity to grow a program a little bit because the expectations aren't good now in North Carolina like they would be at even Vanderbilt or somewhere in the SEC.
He said he's going to turn it into an NFL ready program, like correlation into the NFL. Like people will funnel through his program to become NFL players.
He's
Sure,
basically
yeah.
he's
And he
basically
turned
going to do
it
what
into
John
Bible.
Calipari did at Kentucky
Yeah.
and Memphis. You know, he's just like, I don't want you to stay 4 years. I want you to be here 1 year and they get drafted. That's the whole purpose. So
Yeah.
that's basically what he's going to do
And I'm
there
sure-
is just get guys and just plug them in and say, I mean, and really, he knows how to develop players and he knows how to teach defense and he knows how to teach football, frankly.
Right.
So,
Well, and his I don't say job offer or whatever, but like there was things in this paper he turned in that with all financing and how much they're going to pay players, the maximum they'll pay players, and just people are going to want to be playing for that because he's there, so they don't have to spend all these millions of dollars.
He becomes Dion as far as like notoriety and I mean, he's
East
more
Coast.
Dion in that regard, but he
Yeah.
becomes that type of icon in the space but everyone who would play for him knows, or at least has an idea of the type of coach he is, like hard ass.
Yep.
Not a fun guy, but you go there, you grind for 2 years, and then you go get drafted. You know, he takes a bunch of transfers from other schools that have already proved themselves. Now they're in North Carolina for 2 years. He gets the best of the rest, not in the SEC or even some SEC guys. You know, they wouldn't have gone to North Carolina otherwise, obviously. But I think there's that. And I'm sure he has full autonomy to hire whoever he wants. So I'm sure, though he's bringing his son, I'm sure he could have hired his son regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Because he's not going anywhere to not have control.
That's just like,
that was the knock, that he wasn't getting a job in the NFL because he wanted to do GM/coach.
right.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting though. I'll tune into some games just like I tuned into some Colorado games over the course of the last couple of years. So,
Yeah, if anything, it'll bring out ratings and more money for the school. So
yeah, North Carolina's never won nothing in their career, right? So no one knows who they are.
not in football.
Go Tar Heels.
Yeah.
Which
Football, yeah.
they're obviously. Maybe him and MJ will do a shoe. No. Like Gordon Bombay. It's a shoe for kids who want to coach.
Air checks.
Let's go to our movie, which was The Greatest Showman. Thank you, Disney Plus. Thank you, Hugh Jackman. And Zac Efron before your face changed.
Yeah.
So let's go around the horn here.
Show.
I'll kick it to you, Mitch. You can start us off.
I like the movie. Surprisingly, I like the
movie.
I like a box of chocolates. I don't know. I'm a fan. It's I like the musical kind of movies like that. Those kind of. I mean, I've seen a few different kinds that I compare this to, like Newsies and that kind of stuff. So, on my rankings, I'd probably give it a 7.2. Hugh Jackman, though, I mean, some of the behind the scenes stuff that I've seen with him, with the broken nose, singing and all that kind of stuff, and powering through all that. Some of the songs are really make a connection kind of thing. So it's cool. I like the movie.
Sweet Goose.
This was actually the first time I've seen it. I've actually not seen it before. So this is a little bit better of a rating than the last Hugh Jackman movie that I saw, Deadpool Wolverine. No, I enjoyed it. Initially when I started movie, I was kind of like, oh, I'm not going to really like this. And then it started going. I was like, okay, this is nice. This is good. And I was like, once I got done, I was like, oh, Andy's got to watch this because she'll like this.
Yeah.
So, I'll probably, it's a solid movie, Disney movie. Probably be, that 7 even range. So,
okay, Mr. Alex.
Yeah, I mean, I watched this when it first came out. I haven't watched it since, but it's a really good movie. It's easy, it's got great music into it, and it's entertaining. But yeah, I'd give it about probably like 7.5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's made its rounds in my house, both on TV and on Spotify. I'm sure Mitchell's heard my kids singing it on more than one occasion.
I joined in the action.
There you go.
It is easy to just start singing. They get stuck in your head.
Yeah, very much so. I think when I said it, Mitchell started singing the "This Is Me" song. So when I picked it the other day,
I was thinking this is the greatest show.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, all good. That's also a great one.
Yeah, I like the one with Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron in the bar where they're
Yeah.
haggling over him joining.
Mhm.
But anyways, yeah, big fan of it. 2 bangers back to back. That Thing You Do, and Great Showman. So you just wait for 3 more weeks because I got another music coming at you guys. So
Brought to you by Wicked.
I've never seen it. Felicia was just talking about taking the girls. So for me though, I'm going to go higher than you guys did. I'm going to go 8-1. Not only for the earworm capability, but the rewatchability. And I mean rewatchability. It's been in my house a ton. And there was a stretch there where if I was cutting the grass, it was on Spotify. So that's me though. This is me. So anyways, rankings updated. Well, updated. I don't know which one. Alex, you have the Angry Run Scepter to make the call for the next one. What do you got on deck for us today?
So I picked a movie that I haven't watched in a long time, but it popped up on one of my Facebook reels, and I was like, maybe I'll pick that for everybody to watch. But Grumpy Old Men. Figure,
that's a classic. That's great.
I haven't watched it in so long. I was like, let's see how it goes.
Who's yours? Goose.
Yeah.
And then what was the first one you picked, Alex?
The first
Miracle?
movie I picked?
Was it
Miracles.
Miracle?
Miracles was the second one I picked, yeah.
Oh, okay. What was the first one?
That was, what was it? Tropic Thunder. Yeah.
That's what it was. I know it's on the screen.
At least
now.
that was in the century.
So we are going to go with Grumpy Old Men, not the sequel,
Mm-mm.
the
The
original.
original. Yeah.
1988.
It's like 1992.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Alex, I really thought you were going to go seasonal with us. In my head, I was like, he's going to throw us a Christmas old
I was
school-
thinking it. I mean, it's a winter movie. It's in there. It takes place in, there's
They
snow
do
on the
ice
ground.
skating, right?
Yeah.
They go ice fishing, yeah.
I was just, yeah. All right.
Somebody else has to do that.
Yeah, well, there's 2 more episodes we're going to do next week. And then we'll have a Christmas episode. Early in the week before Christmas. Not Christmas night.
I'll wear my Christmas Bill sweater.
There you go. I'm wearing nothing at all. All right. Well, so we got Grumpy Old Men for next week. So. All right. Well, we appreciate you sticking around to the end of this mess. Thanks so much, and go Bills.
Go
Go
Bills.
Bills.
Bills.